Okay, so the bottling unit has a few adjustments here and there. So you have all those fingers here to adjust, to position the bottle in that direction. You got the back plate that slides back and front to adjust it front and back. So we see that everything is well centered here. You got this here that you can unscrew to adjust the height of the entire unit. So bigger bottle requires more height. So you can see that there's quite a bit of adjustment here. And you can also see that those go quite a bit low. So right there, but you need to compress that spring at least 90% for it to work properly. This one is the adjusted right now. So just to show you the adjustment for the overflow, for the length of the overflow nozzle. So let's fill that bottle. Right now, it won't fill high enough. I know by experience that these bottles, I don't need to weigh it because I know by experience that these bottles need to be filled right up to the bottleneck right there. Right now, we're missing about ½ inch and it won't go because this is a tight seal and everything is overflowing through there. So there's not enough syrup in that bottle. In order to make the syrup climb higher, I just need to make the nozzle shorter by unscrewing that thing. Hold on. Hold on. Stay with me. I would say right about there. So let's try that again. And it's perfect, right to the bottleneck. So we want to put the cap on it as quickly as possible. And then I'm gonna put it on the side, but I will need to put it upside down in the case when I'm done. So just to show you the setup that we have right now, right here. This is a regular, simple electric water jacketed tank. We have a small diaphragm pump. We have a Lapierre Syro filter, all in line. With the machine, we have the overflow return, we have the bypass pipe, and we have the vacuum breaker or breather. So I'm just gonna start the pump to show you guys how everything is running in there. Okay, so this is a diaphragm pump, so I can modulate the speed on it. But if this would be a fixed speed pump, this valve here is to control kind of bit of the flow of the pump itself. You want to close that valve so that you still have a flow, but you want to have a little bit of flow out of there. When you are filling the bottle, when you're in a filling cycle, you should not have syrup here. This needs to be free of syrup to break the vacuum because it creates a small vacuum inside the bottles. These are the overflow return pipe. These need to be going down all the way. You can't have, just like here, you can't have syrup staying in those pipes. It will create a tiny little bit of pressure inside the bottle and it will create a little puffs of syrup making your bottle sticky. So you don't want to have syrup in there. So that's why, depending on the height of adjustment that we put the head at, we want to pull or push or pull our water jacketed to keep those pipes nicely going down. Of course, I don't want them very stiff, you know. These are fairly loose, but they're not loose enough so that they make a sag like these and keep maple syrup in there. These need to be empty every time the filler valve goes up. These valves right here are to adjust the flow of each individual filling head. So the first cycle that you do, you need to do a couple cycles and empty back the bottle because you want to preheat the system and preheat the filler valve. So the first few cycles you do, you use that time to fine-tune those valves so all bottles fills at the same pace. You don't want one to win a race 3-4 seconds before another one. You want them to fill up at the same pace. And right now you don't see air here in those pipes. It's because I forced the air out. It's not very easy to do, but I'll show you. Let's say there's a bubble here. I'm just pinching the pipe up like that. There's a small bubble here. No, I'm just pinching the pipe up like that and helping the air go back in the system. If you have a big pocket of air here, it won't work properly. You'll have a different, you have problem filling your bottles. So you need to make sure, again, you adjust this so you have a tiny flow out there. But when you are filling the bottle, you don't want to see a flow here. You don't want to see maple syrup staying in that pipe. And everything should be kosher from there. Of course, I would recommend that you have a thermometer on the jacketed itself or on the inlet of the machine, just like we are set up right now, to assess the temperature of your maple syrup. Again, you don't want to be under 185 when you're filling a jug or a bottle. This is the pressure regulator that applies the pressure on the cylinder that drives the valve. So you want that pressure to be set somewhere between 20 and 40 psi. Too much pressure will force on the bottle and makes violent acting of the valve, and too little pressure, pardon me right here, too little pressure will fail to seal properly on the bottle itself. That could be also that the filler head is crooked a little like that, so you want to make sure that the filler head is perpendicular to that and that you have the right pressure so you don't have syrup that leaks in between the neck of the bottle and the seal on the filler valve. Just to tell you, you need to lubricate a little bit of things in there. So with that small food lubricant that you can get from us at Lapierre, you want to put just a little drop behind the springs on the piston of the valve itself, and then just one little drop right here on the cylinder shaft. You could also put a few drops in the air feed so it would find its way in the entire system to make sure everything is well lubed. By the way, those gaskets will last almost forever, but if you want some replacement, they're available at Lapierre. And there is a O-ring seal there and a U-cup seal there and another hidden in there. You can have those. It's a kit for both size valve. Those kits are available for the old and the new style valve, so you can get them from your dealer at Lapierre. And one thing for sure, when you first start the unit, you need to do a couple cycles of bottle to preheat the system, and you empty those bottles back into the water jacketed every time, because you want to preheat everything, because when you start, this is very cold, everything is cold in there. The filler valve are cold, so your first bottle won't be hot enough even though your syrup is hot enough, because the first batch is always cold. So you want to do 2 or 3 cycles, empty them back, and then you're ready to start. Use those cycles to fine-tune the speed using the valve in the back to fine-tune the speed that the syrup goes up in the bottle so that they all fill evenly.